Hello, everybody. This is Michael with Mikey Does Outdoors, and I'm coming to you with the first episode of a new segment I'm going to call Mikey's Tales. I've been here with my parents. They're during the COVID-19 stuff going on, and I've been helping them do stuff and helping take care of them and keeping them from having to go out and do stuff because they're older and they have some underlying health issues, and so I don't want to take any chances with them. And while I'm here, I decided I haven't been doing as much outdoor stuff. Well, they shut a lot of it down where we couldn't do it. It didn't make a lot of sense. But anyway, I decided I'm starting back on some of the outdoor stuff, which you'll be seeing some here for too long on here. But I thought I've always thought I might like to tell some tales of some of my adventures I've had through the years because we've had some good ones. And I'm gonna This is the first episode, and if people seem to like it, then I'll keep doing it weekly, even when I start back up with the regular videos of the outdoor stuff. I'll keep doing some Mikey's Tales if people like it. But this will be your first episode, and this one is going to be called, was it a bear? Or maybe, possibly could have been Bigfoot. And so, actually I just called it, was it a bear or maybe Bigfoot? But anyway, it's a good story, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks. As summer approached, a friend and I started planning a trip to the Colorado mountains. We had found a place we loved going in the south central part of Colorado where there are loads of places to fish and camp and hike. We were both into photography also, and it also has tons of places where photographic opportunities are all over the place in that area. We could go on a hike and spend literally hours hiking and having fun and taking photographs along the way. As we compared our schedules, we confirmed that early June would be the best for both of us, and we started making plans and securing the time off we'd need from our jobs. As the time approached for us to leave, we got the food together and everything ready that we needed to go and have a great time. When that time arrived, we got moving pretty fast. This would be the first time we ever went this early in the season, and the first time we ever arrived at our campsite in the daytime. Needless to say, we were super excited about the trip. When we arrived at the campground and to see the campsite that we wanted, there was still snow all the way up to the top of the picnic tables. And at first we were very disappointed, thinking that we might be out of luck for a campsite. However, this particular campground and this campsite were at an elevation of 10,500 feet. So we knew of another campground, and hopefully there would be campsites available. There was at about 9,000 feet. So we went there to see if there was any available. When we arrived there was nobody camping there, so we had our pick. So we picked one that was right next to the stream. Because I don't know if you've ever been there or not, but one of the best white noise kind of sounds is the sound of a running stream. Right next to you while you're sleeping, that drowns out all the other stuff and helps you to just snooze real good. So we filled out all the registration forms, paid our fees, set up their campsite. At this point, we both had our very own small tents and they were labeled as two-person, but you would have to be extremely intimate with any person you were sharing that tent with. And so therefore we had our own tents. Once the tents were all set up, we made lunch and then set out for some fun and adventure, taking photographs of everything we could find. We did that until about supper time, and then we went back to the campsite to make some supper. Tonight we cooked some chicken and veggies and had a great supper, and then we cleaned up all the dishes and pots and pans, very careful about putting all items that are related to food back in the truck each and every time we had a meal. Then darkness set in, and we went to our tents to sleep. The next day we woke up to freezing cold outside, and we had a hard time getting out of our sleeping bags. When we did, we discovered it was so cold there was a thin layer of ice over our tents. First time we had experienced that. But after breakfast, we went and found a good place to photograph a very large herd of elk. Those were a lot of fun to see and to get photographs of. One time while we were just sitting and watching the herd, we felt as if we were being watched, and then we looked over to the left, and there were two cow elk watching us. We could tell they were watching us because just us turning our heads to see them made them stop watching us and run away. First time I've ever seen anything like that happen at all. After the elk watching was over, we went to a small lake and caught our limit of rainbow trout. A few years earlier, we had discovered a method of catching those trout that are pretty much foolproof. We always catch as many as we want when we go there to fish. We spent quite a bit of time doing that, and then we went off for more photographs. When we returned to our campsite, we saw a few more people had came in to camp there also. There's a pretty big campground there, but there was one family, 2 adults and a small child, that decided to camp just about 3 campsites away from us. But for some reason, we discovered later that they didn't stick around. Something that scared them off, but they left their huge plastic bins with stuff in it right there. We don't know what it was. And anyway, we cleaned up our trout, cooked some of that in the evening for supper. And I think we probably had trout soft tacos. You know. Then we carefully cleaned up the campsite and put all the food-related items. And we even changed our clothes after we've been fishing and cooking the stuff. And we put the clothes in the pickup and lock it up because we don't want to attract any bears or mountain lions, to our tents. Our goal is to stay safe and in one piece. Still, no sign of any of the other campers, but their stuff still remained. After discussing what could have happened and having supper, it began getting dark again, so we went to our tents and went to bed. In the tent, all snuggled up in the sleeping bag, with the noise from the stream running, it was a really good night's sleep for me most of the time. The beginning of this night was no exception to that rule. However, sometime in the middle of the night, I woke up and something rubbing up against my tent. I thought it had to be some kind of grass or brush that had fallen from a tree, and really didn't get too concerned about it at all. Then as I lay there wondering what it could be, out of the blue, the entire tent just gets pushed to one side. And a few seconds later, it goes right back. It went back to its own original position. I laid there in the tent and could hear whatever it was moving around outside the tent in the gravel. I could hear the steps as clear as could be. But needless to say, that was the end of my good night's rest. After a bit of noise, the noise just went away, but I could not go back to sleep the rest of that night. The next day after we woke up, got out of the tents, I took a good look around and couldn't see any signs of what it could have been. Although all the items for the other campers that they had left were still there and apparently untouched. It really makes me wonder, what it was, what could have been. After watching some other stuff about Bigfoot and that kind of thing, and seeing stuff on YouTube here about Bigfoot, I sometimes wonder, was it a bear, or maybe it could have been Bigfoot. I don't know. I've never seen Bigfoot. I don't know if he really exists, but who knows? So I simply tell people when I tell this tale, I try to tell them that it was probably a bear, or just possibly Bigfoot. But anyway, you've heard the story, and so now you can make up your own mind what you think it is. And if you like this story, please hit subscribe and like, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.